Greetings and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by Johnny Paulus. Johnny, happy October. Welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a couple gigs this weekend, getting back to the grind after being on vacation the previous weekend. But both gigs went well. The one Saturday at Red Eyes was a little bit of a bummer because it was overcast. So what they did was that big tent area where they sit everybody, they closed up the tent. So I was performing to empty tables and a closed tent for the first 2 hours of the gig.
Why didn't they put you on the fucking stage in the tent?
Good question.
Ah, well, fuck them. You got paid.
I mean, yeah, I got paid and the tips were good. And that was what was funny is I felt like I was playing for nobody. And then every 15 or 20 minutes, somebody come out and be like, man, you're great. Do you know any, Alice in Chains? I'm like, absolutely. And they'd be like, boom, $20 bill in the bucket. And I'm like, okay, I guess this gig's going to be all right, even though I literally feel like I'm performing for no one.
Well, there you go.
It was weird.
Yeah, I finally finished my hellacious run of gigs last week. So I've had time to actually sit on my ass and play video games, which is fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Because I'd been kind of lacking there, which is very unusual for me in particular. So, yeah, we played this golf country club, and I mean, full disclosure, I'm playing with a band, subbing with a band. My brother needed someone to come fill for their bass player, and they play all. There's not really a better word for this, even though what I'm about to say has an extraordinarily negative connotation. But they mostly played teeny bopper pop punk from the early 2000s. So we're talking Blink 182, Good Charlotte, just music that literally makes me want to hang myself.
Yeah.
So we load in and everything. And I would say that the average age in this fairly packed room, the median age was probably 68. And so we're all looking at each other, and I'm laughing because I don't give a fuck. But I feel horrible for the front man, right? Because he's got to sing all these songs to people his parents' age. I'm like, this is gonna go horrible. Oddly enough,
oh my god.
Oddly enough, we kick into the first set, and it's like they orchestrated, all got up from their tables, came out into the dance floor, and all started dancing to the band. I'm like, okay. And we're playing the Killers. And so all these people our parents' age are out on the dance floor dancing. And there's this one old lady up at the front, and she's got to be 75, 76. I mean, she's fucking old.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And she's not only dancing, but she's jumping up and down. And for all 3 hours, I don't think she missed a single lyric in our set. Just
Are you serious?
Even when we went into My Chemical Romance, she's every word. She's got them.
What?
So we stop and we talk. We're like, okay, what is going on here?
Yeah.
She's like, I love this music. This is what I'm into. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So we had people out on the floor dancing the entire night, singing the words to all the song, and they're our parents' age.
Oh, that's so weird.
It was one of the best cover band gigs I've ever played.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
And we expected it to be a complete fucking nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think she was even doing the screaming part in Monkey Wrench with us. So,
holy shit, man! Granny was getting down.
Somebody threw the change on the ground, and she was picking it up, dude. She's picking up that change.
That's too fucking funny, man.
So,
oh man.
So I don't have anything else with them on the calendar. and I'm very happy to be on a break. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else interesting to talk about from my personal life this past week, because it's basically been I'm either at a rehearsal, at home practicing, or at a gig lately. So I am glad that that is over for now. So in a change of pace, I've been on my classical upright bass, preparing for a musical production of The Secret Garden, the Broadway hit from a lifetime ago. I'll be playing that in March, so should be cool. Something to bring the fam to.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Drag the kids out and be like, hey, look, when you get to high school, you can do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is, in fact, a gaming podcast. It's the Power Gamer Podcast. It's episode 134. We thank you for stopping by, tuning in, listening, streaming, watching, whatever you're doing. We just ask that maybe you take a second and either leave a nice review wherever you're listening to our show, or if on YouTube, to like, maybe leave a comment, maybe subscribe. It's literally all we ask for. You will not hear a single advertisement throughout this show, unless Johnny bought something that everyone else needs to also purchase. You will not be faced with any advertising on today's show.
Nah, I think you're good.
We're going to start off this week, as we always do, by first discussing the games we've been playing. Johnny, you're under the bus. Go first.
Sure, yeah, I'll kick it off. So I rolled credits on Starfield. I guess we can put our Starfield conversation together at the end.
Nah,
Do you agree?
just roll.
Okay.
You're way ahead of me in that game, and that you've already finished. So lay it on us.
Starfield. My total playtime by the time I rolled credits was about 74 hours, something like that. I'd done the Ryu Jinx faction all the way through, the Rangers faction all the way through, the UC with the pirates all the way through, and then obviously the main quest line. I did a whole bunch of other side quests here and there, some of the underground stuff at Neon, but I kind of started feeling that drive of kind of where it was headed as far as the end, and don't worry, I'll keep it spoiler free. But I will say, the New Game Plus, what they've done with the New Game Plus is one of the more interesting things that I've ever seen someone do with the New Game Plus. It is something different. It is not, here is the end, and then you're just randomly plopped back, go ahead and keep doing your thing. There's an explanation as to what is happening, and it's very cool. I'm going to give the game a 9. There's a lot that I'm really excited about with this game, but there's still a little bit too much of that Bethesda jank to go much higher than that. I feel like if they had taken the bones of this game and had tightened up the combat, tightened up the AI, a few little things like that, I think we'd be talking a 9.5, 9.6. But there is a lot with this game that bothers me, but there's a whole lot more that makes me want to keep playing the game. So here I am. I've already rolled credits. I've already got 80 hours in. I played another 3-4 hours the other night. So I'm still very much hooked on this game. I think I'm probably going to finish all of the factions. Am I going to, platinum trophy the game? Probably not. But I do think I'm going to seek out the main sort of quest lines, probably work on an outpost. And then, what's fun about this game is it's Bethesda, and they're going to mod the shit out of it. So at any point in time, I can pause what I'm doing, give the modders another 6 months or a year to do whatever they're going to do, and then I can take a look at what the mods are and go, oh, cool, let me pop all those mods on and, keep my game going. So, Starfield is still a strong recommend. I'm going to give a 9 for Starfield, and I'm still playing it, even though I have rolled credits on the main storyline.
In Starfield, it almost feels like, and I was reading an interview with Todd Howard today, that what they set out to do feels very much in place, and that is to have a game that you will just keep playing. There's always since the time this game was announced, people have been talking about things like Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Games that have seemingly persistent worlds in which there is stuff to do. And Starfield flirts with that, especially with how, you know me, Johnny, I spoil the shit out of things for myself all the time. So specifically with how they implemented the new game plus in this,
Yeah.
lends to that kind of persistent
Yes.
vibe.
Totally.
Now that I've spent a lot of time with this game, also, I'm at about 35 hours. It's so obvious to me that the difference between major publications that reviewed the game well and reviewed the game poorly
Yeah.
has to be that the ones that went poorly just ran through the campaign
Yep. Totally.
trying to get the job done.
Yep.
And it's not that kind of game, you know.
No.
Like if you bought No Man's Sky just to play through the main quest line,
Yeah, you're missing a lot.
everyone would tell you that you're missing the point of that game. And I think the same is true here with Starfield to a degree, that it's much more fulfilling, the single player campaign, than something you're going to get from like a No Man's Sky or the complete lack of anything in Star Citizen. But that there's more there than you would traditionally come to expect in a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned the I certainly say like a lot of the quote unquote Bethesda jank is still present in Starfield. But I was honestly, and continue to be, really impressed with the combat in the game. Like I think the combat's pretty solid in Starfield, honestly.
Boy, do I disagree.
It's okay.
I think the Starfield combat is one of the weakest points. I think the combat slide is a fucking joke. Don't spend a point on it because it's bad. The AI for the characters is awful. The amount of times I've shot someone and they just literally stand there and allow me to shoot them again without responding, moving, acting surprised, nothing. They will literally just stand there and let me shoot them again. There's too much. I can't let Bethesda off the hook.
I
think
see.
I think the guns are fun. All that's fine.
Yeah.
But
I think that falls into, and I understand where they cross over, but I think I would call that more the AI, which I agree is shitty because it's always shitty in Bethesda games. But I think like the actual act of taking a gun and shooting it and aiming and things like that, that I thought felt rough in Fallout games, is pretty improved coming over to Starfield.
Okay, I'll back up a little bit on my statement. I was thinking combat in general, not just the act of firing the guns, but the experience of cleaning out a dungeon full of baddies. They're bone stupid. I mean, it's like some of the worst first-person shooter AI I've seen in a shooter in a very long time. It's bad.
I think one of the problems that Bethesda, that their games have suffered from for a long time, is trying to balance for players that are going with stealth builds.
Yeah.
Because when you are playing stealth, they kind of respond in the video game sense correctly to stealthing. But yeah, if you're going in guns blazing, they're all standing there picking their noses.
Which is what they do.
Yeah. Sometimes. Other times they're on you like flies on fucking shit.
Sometimes.
but usually not. Yeah.
No, I mean they get caught places. I mean the amount of times I'm like I have to cast my power that lets me see people through walls so I can figure out where the hell the guy is. I'm like, "Oh, he fell down in the hole. He's down there shooting at the ceiling above him, but
That
even
does
though he
happen a
can't
lot.
see me.
The
Happens all the time.
the space combat though, I've thought is pretty good.
Space combat's fun. Yeah, I mean the space
It's
combat is
arcadey, but
enjoyable.
I like it, and I like the targeting thing to
Yes.
disable and then board and all that.
Yeah, they're kind of vats in space is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds like I'm dunking on the game, but here I am 80 hours in and I'm still hooked and I'm still playing. I did give it a 9. I think it's a great game.
Well,
And
Johnny, I think anyone that's listened to us for a while, whenever it comes to your reviewing, they've probably come to understand that you tend to focus on things you hate.
well, I want to get them all the thoughts out, right? Because it's probably the last time I'm really going to talk about Starfield. So I just want to make sure I've said enough of the good.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I get the bad out.
Tell me you're a sales manager without telling me you're a sales manager. You talk about everything that sucks.
But no, I mean, I am still very much enjoying the game. I do recommend it very strongly, and yeah, now that I've rolled credits on it, I'm looking at my backlog of the other games we need to play this year, and oh boy, I played another, I'm gonna say 6 or 7 hours, maybe 8 hours of Sea of Stars. I continue to be impressed by this game. I love the pace of this game. One of my biggest pet peeves with JRPGs, and this isn't all JRPGs, but anybody who's enjoyed a plethora of them knows, a lot of them tend to drag their feet in certain areas, right? It's like this part is a pretty nice breezy playthrough, and then you get to that forest, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I've been in this forest for like 4 hours. I've been fighting the same monsters for 4 hours. No, there's been no plot development. I've just been walking around this forest fighting the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. The pace of this game is very good. It very quickly kind of moves scene to scene. The plot is feel like it's constantly moving. The leveling up feels good. The timed actions in combat is becoming more difficult, and I'm realizing how important it is. Timing your blocks is really important. Timing your other power-ups so that they'll continue to do more damage is really important. And I really, really love this game. I'm enjoying it a lot. I can already tell I think it's going to be a cut above Chained Echoes, which I also really dug. But anybody on Game Pass, it's there. And if you don't want to do Game Pass, I think you can still pick the game up for $30 or $40. But if you are a Super Nintendo era RPG fan, this one's for you, and you'll love it. So that's kind of the one I think I'm gonna just focus on until I beat it. But I also pre-installed Lies of P because it's also on Game Pass, and I was curious. I just wanted to see how it runs and all. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised. I fired it up fully expecting to play it for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes and then go, yeah, no, not for me, and then exit out and uninstall and move on. Similar to what I did. What was the Souls-like that came out on Game Pass about 3-4 months ago? It was like the samurai one that everyone loved. I fucking hated it. I got to the first boss and was like, yeah, I'm never going to play this game again.
Long Fallen Dynasty?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I fired that game up, played it for 20 minutes, and was like, yep, nope, not for me. Uninstall. But Lies of P, I sat and played for fucking like 3-4 hours, got through a couple bosses. I was having quite a bit of fun with that game. It is a Souls-like, but it doesn't feel like it's a crushing Souls-like, at least not yet. I would say it's between something like Jedi Survivor, which is like a Souls light, and a Dark Souls. It doesn't feel as punishing as Dark Souls. But for anybody that
I have heard from some of my fellow Souls fans that this game gets fucking brutal.
Okay, I probably don't want to play it then.
However, one of my favorite reviewers,
yeah,
and I know you've heard me point to these guys a lot, over at Game Informer, Wesley LeBlanc.
yeah,
he 9.5 Lies P.
wow.
So
yeah, no, I mean, I was really pleasantly surprised with what I saw. I thought the presentation was great. At least on PC, it ran really well, like really, really smooth. No jittering in the gameplay, like I really suffered with Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring was a janky frame rate mess on PC.
On PC, yeah.
But none of that on Lies of P. Lies of P was running very, very smoothly. I didn't really have to tinker with the settings. Everything just kind of looked great, and yeah, I mean the combat felt good. The graphics were cool, and it's very much a Souls-like. You know what you're getting into, but I don't know. I enjoyed what I played so far. So that's really it for me. I played a whole lot of Starfield and a little bit of Sea of Stars and Lies of P. What about you, Mike?
Well, I am continuing my co-op playthrough of Divinity Original Sin 2. My character is officially broken and just demolishing everything.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, the sorcerers do that.
yeah, yeah. To the extent that my two teammates barely get a chance to really kill anything. Um,
Sounds about right.
and everything's always on fire because I'm actually maxed on pyromancy already. So I'm like,
Nice.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
So having an okay time with it. I will eventually see it through. We're getting there. Do I think it's the masterpiece of RPG? No. And I've spent enough time with it now to look at it and go, I get whose itch this scratches, but you are very few.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, it's a CRPG. It is a CRPG, and if you don't know what that is,
it's good, but it's also not at the same time. For a lot of the reasons that I had issue with it during my first 20-hour attempt to take the game down. It's just a big, obtuse, misguided thing that if you're willing to pull up a guide when you get stuck, which is going to be like quite a few times every time you sit down with the game, because it is very bad at pointing you to your next thing to do.
Huh, that's funny. I didn't guide very much at all.
It's not surprising, Johnny, because you think it's amazing, and you've told me that so many times. But I'm not alone. I'm definitely not. I mean, the quest logging and quest direction in that game leaves a lot to be fucking desired, especially with how enormous it is. So I hope, given I haven't really played any of Baldur's Gate 3, that they have addressed that. Because certainly that's probably the most glaring issue that I have with Divinity. But I'll get through it, and I'm having fun playing it with other people. The OG Dark Souls. I was like, you know what? My poor Xbox 360. I haven't fired you up in a while. I've been so buried with all the games coming out this year. I'm like, I need to carve out a little bit of time each day to sit down with one of my old game machines and play something. So I was like, let's dust off the 360, get out that beautiful old 360 controller, fired up and play it on my beautiful old Sony Trinitron 4:3 aspect ratio TV connected via component cables, and take myself back in time to a simpler time, to the mid 2000s. And dude, it looks so fucking good on a 4:3 aspect ratio screen. It's absurd.
Wow.
I'm like, and back in the day, that was a $3,000 television.
Yeah.
So if I'm going back in time and just playing in that aspect ratio, I'm like, this is great. I'm like, it's the screen is really all you can digest anyways. You don't need this extra shit on the sides, and it looks so good. So yeah, I'd say playing old games on the old console, you're not playing a remastered version. I think people like hook their old consoles up to these new TVs. They look like ass, and they can't remember that on the right hardware back in the day that this shit looked a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having it's just such a fortunate thing for me that I'm able to experience it literally like you would have back in the day. And yeah, I'm happy that I pulled that off my shelf, because I've never cleared the first Dark Souls game, so I'm gonna pick away at it. I know that one's not horrendously long. And yes, I have also been playing Starfield, as we already mentioned. It is exactly what I want out of a video game. I am probably going to be hotter on it than Johnny was, albeit a 9 out of 10 is still pretty high on it, but I think it's better than that. And I can't really foresee the campaign changing that feeling. I think the density of the world, the scale of the world, I've really been sinking my teeth into the exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the different planets, setting up outposts all over the place, doing the mining. There's just so much there. And for my play style, where my goal is to avoid combat and sneak, it's great. It's really something else. So, Johnny, before we move on from what we've been playing, let's do a quick this or that, just to kind of give people a better gauge. Okay. So there's going to be a constant in this or that, and that constant's going to be Starfield.
Okay.
So Starfield, this or that, Starfield or Skyrim.
Starfield.
Starfield or Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Starfield or Fallout 3.
Starfield.
Starfield or what's a good one? Starfield or Dragon Age.
Man, that's a tough one. I gotta say Dragon Age.
And I mean that is the series, so you don't have to go, well, Dragon Age Origins or
Right. No.
If I have to this or that in the same direction, I would say Starfield over Fallout 3, Starfield over Dragon Age, Cyberpunk 2077 still over Starfield.
Yep.
And man, Skyrim and Starfield, I think that's the tougher one.
Yeah.
Because Skyrim is just so perfect.
So the reason why I didn't hesitate when you asked me Skyrim, Starfield, I've never beaten Skyrim ever. I've tried. I've sat down and gone, I'm going to play Skyrim and I'm going to roll credits on it. And I put in 40, 50 hours and I get completely hooked on it. And then I look at my mission log and I have 89 fucking quests to do and X's all over the entire map. And I go, I don't feel like dealing with this anymore. And I just stopped playing it. And so I am not exaggerating when I say this. In the era of the modern open world Bethesda game, Starfield is the first one that I've rolled credits on. I've never rolled credits on Fallout 3 or New Vegas or Skyrim or Oblivion or any of them. And Starfield, I saw through to the end. So for me, I got to put it above Skyrim. That's all it is.
Starfield or Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima all day.
I agree.
Not even close for me.
Starfield or Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead Redemption 2, not even close.
Also agree. Starfield or Marvel Spider-Man.
Marvel Spider-Man, not even close.
Also agree. And if we put it up against Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Witcher 3.
No.
So
no, we're not.
It's a very good game.
Yes.
But that should kind of gauge a little bit better with how we feel about it. Like Starfield or whatever you consider the best Assassin's Creed game.
I'd still give it to Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I'd go Starfield. But I digress. We really like this game, and it's going to be around for a long time. Probably, I would say, of all the games that are coming out this year, that one feels like it has the most staying power. Not going to be the game of the year, probably anywhere, but it's going to be around for a long time.
Well, and especially with the mods, like I said when on our first episode where we talked about it, I said this is just going to be the next Skyrim. We're going to be modding it and playing remasters and DLCs and all kinds of shit. And this game's going to be around for a while. I think they're going to DLC the shit out of this game.
I'm sure we'll get at least 2 title ones. So
yeah.
Moving on, it's a new month, and you know what that means. It's time to talk about this month's game releases. Hopping right in, a game that I very much enjoyed is coming to PS5. So Scorn is making its way to the PlayStation console tomorrow, October 3rd. Johnny, I forget if did you did beat Scorn or didn't? I can't remember.
I played 30 minutes of it.
30 minutes of it. Okay. I'd be interested to see your take on a complete playthrough of that. I think it holds up very well.
Well, and I dig puzzle games, so it wasn't like I walked away and said, not playing that. I just didn't, I don't know. It didn't get his claws in me.
Yeah, it takes time, and then it's not a long game. So you get about like to the halfway point, and it's like, oh man, I got to see this through.
Yeah, no, I got to a puzzle that pissed me off, and I kept fucking with it and fucking with it for like 20, 30 minutes, and then I walked away from it for a day or two, and then I fired it back up, and I spent another, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes with that puzzle, and was like, fuck this. I got other shit to play.
Yeah, I played it with a walkthrough, full disclosure, and I'm really glad I did. It's probably why I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Mirage, the self-described throwback to Assassin's Creed of yesteryears, the smaller format games that frankly I think everybody is ready to go back to in that series. Comes out October 5th. I know personally that I'm interested in getting into this game, and any other year it would probably be like a top priority for me.
Yeah.
Johnny, what's your pulse on Assassin's Creed Mirage?
I really want to play it. I think the release date for this is a mistake. I think it's too close to everything else. We're all so busy with everything else. I mean, like, look at us all. We're all going, I mean, fuck, I got to get to this game and I got to get to that game. And like, I feel like they should have pushed this game to February 10th or something and just scooted it on down. But no, I'm very excited for this game. But I mean, where I'm looking at right now with my backlog, this will be, I don't know, Q1, Q2 next year. I'll buy it on sale and beat it.
The game's going to do very well, so don't panic, because there are literally people that only play Assassin's Creed games.
Okay, that was the only thing I'm worried about. Is I hope it doesn't flop, because then they're gonna just go, well, back to the formula that didn't work.
The Assassin's Creed community is obnoxiously big.
Okay, well that's good.
Forza Motorsport 10 comes out. Unironically, Forza Motorsport 10. What the fuck am I saying? Jesus Christ! It comes out October 10th. It's just called Forza Motorsport. I guess technically it would be 9. Wasn't the last one 8 or so? Who cares?
I sure don't.
Yeah, it's diet race sim time. So for people that, I don't, as a former like heavy sim racer, I still wonder who the fuck this game is for.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, in the diet sim world, Gran Turismo is king. In the real sim world, iRacing is king. Assetto Corsa Competizione is a close second.
Right.
And then like you have like Race Room and things like that. But people show up and buy this game, and I'm just like, who the fuck is playing it? Like, it works horrible with a wheel, so it's like a sim game for controller boys.
Right.
And the Horizon series is just so much better. So I don't.
They keep making them and they keep selling them. So
yeah,
somebody's.
I really liked Forza Motorsport 2 for the 360 when that came out. I was like, oh wow, this is cool. But they really haven't gotten with the times in terms of offering like competitive play like Gran Turismo did. So we'll see. I'm sure it'll do really well because it's a decent game. It looks nice, it runs great, and it's coming to Game Pass. So there you go. Next up, Johnny, this one's for you. Mike Mignola's Hellboy Web of Weird.
Day one, I'm sold.
Comes out October 18th. I guess you'll have to tell us about this because I only put it on here because you're here.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Hellboy fan. I'm a huge fan of the comic books. I love the art style of the comic books, and I've never seen anything really look like a Hellboy comic ever, with the overuse of black. When you read the Hellboy comics, there is almost the pages are never white. The pages are pitch black, and then the art is done on top of that. So the art style for this roguelike game is very similar to that. And when they released the 16-minute IGN trailer, I know we already talked about this, but I was excited that Lance Reddick is doing the voice for Hellboy. So yeah, I like roguelikes. I like Hellboy. This is an instant buy for me. I can't wait.
I skipped one. Lords of the Fallen, the reboot of
I know you're pumped on this
the
one.
Lords of the Fallen series, comes out October 13th. Yeah, so I mean, generally I just like Souls-like games. But this looks fucking awesome. Like, everything I've seen from this tells me like this is an absolute mind bender that's coming out, that people are really going to take to. And I think the timing of it is perfect for Souls fans. So, there hasn't been much since Elden Ring. We do have that expansion coming in the near future. But I think for the Souls fanboys, Armored Core 6 might have drawn some of them in with the From Software development, but that's game's pretty easy. So Lords of the Fallen coming out on the 13th. Yeah, I am looking forward to that. I don't know when I'm going to have time to play it, but I want to. Next up, Jackbox Party Pack 10. We're big fans of the Jackbox Party Packs here on the
I own all 9, and I will own all 10
on the Power Gamer podcast, because it is the best game to play shit-faced drunk with your friends. So if you have friends and you abuse substances, this game's for you. Comes out October 19th. The big boy, Spider-Man 2,
Yep.
October 20th. Johnny, how are you preparing for Spider-Man 2?
I mean, I got my Spider-Man shirt on.
He's wearing the shirt.
I got my Spider-Man tattoo on my leg.
Tatted up.
I got my signed Spider-Man comic right here above my head. No, I can't wait. And I think that the original Spider-Man game, Sony's Spider-Man, the first one, I would argue is the best superhero video game ever made. So this is the sequel to that. And also, by the way, is based on my favorite fictional character in all of fiction. So yeah, I'm a little excited for this one. I've actually, you know what? I've been tempering my hype on this. Like, I've been intentionally like kind of not really watching the trailers, or like I'll kind of skim the videos and stuff that come out, because like I'm already sold. I don't want anything to be spoiled for me. I want to get this game the day it comes out, and I want to just escape into that world, because I fucking loved the last two. Miles Morales one was great. And the first one was just, I mean, like a damn near perfect game in my opinion.
Yes. Same over here. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 comes out October 24th. So for those wanting to relive the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games, here it is. I'm not really all that interested in this at all, because I have the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games. And
yeah, so you're the physical collector that stacks them to the ceiling. I am the digital collector, so I look at the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 and I go, oh, Steam Summer Sale 2024. When I can scoop the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection for $10, I will strike. I will buy this, but probably not for a while. This will just be, for me personally, it'll be a wait till it's cheap and I can just have it to have it. But I mean, I am glad that they're, Konami's been fucking killing it at maintaining their legacy with this. I mean, I think I have most of their Castlevania releases that they've done. I like that they're kind of, backing themselves up. I wish more companies would do it. I mean,
Yeah, I just
How is it?
how the fuck are they going to do Psycho Mantis? That's my question. And if you don't know the answer, that's fine. I don't know how much past experience you have with the series. I don't think it's a ton.
I I remember Psycho
Yeah,
Mantis
how the
very
fuck are
well.
they doing that? That's gonna be whack no matter how they do it.
I think they're gonna have to do the Doki Doki angle of giving file names from the computer.
So
That's all I can think of.
I mean, because the whole thing with Psycho Mantis, huge spoiler on a game from 1997. Cover your ears, children. Is you couldn't hurt him unless you figured out just from context clues that Psycho Mantis was breaking the fourth wall and telling you to unplug your controller from the PlayStation 1 and plug it in to controller port 2. That's how you had to beat that boss. You had to physically unfucking plug your controller and plug it into the other port, or it wasn't going to work for you.
Yeah.
The other funny thing was, like, he'd look at your memory card data and comment about, like, if you put a CD in your thing, oh, I see you were listening to so-and-so.
Yeah.
Loser. or he'd talk about the other game saves that you have. I see you've been playing Masters of Terrakasi. So I think it was a day and time thing. I'll be interested to see how this pans out in 2023.
Oh, at the time, it was a mind blower.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's ever come close to that. It was awesome.
Eternal Darkness came close. Darkness came close with the turning your TV up and down and shit like that.
Yes.
That game had some weirdness in it.
The Ultimate Controller Breaker, Ghost Runner 2, comes out on October 26th. I feel like this is a U game.
Man, I thought so too.
Did you play the first Ghost Runner?
I bought the first one and installed it and played it for like 10 minutes and was like, fuck this game. I don't know. I might get a hankering to fucking fire it back up, but no, I lost.
What was the big Jesus Christ, how am I losing this game name already? The one with the cards, first person, came out on Switch and PC, the anime dating
Neon White.
Yeah, it's like you got through that. Is it that different?
Yeah.
I mean, you do have to do like the parries and stuff, which look tough. So I put a separate section up here of just Switch shit.
Whoa! Don't you skip? You're skipping again.
Oh yeah. Well, this one's important, Johnny. So
it is very important.
It's Alan Wake 2. It comes out on the 27th. So you have a week to beat Spider-Man 2, Johnny.
Listen to me. Faithful listeners of the Power Gamer podcast, listen to me when I say these 3 words. Remedy, don't miss. Okay? Remedy, don't miss. Alan Wake 2 is going to be a fucking banger. And if this weren't the same year that Tears of the Kingdom came out, I think this one would be in the consideration for conversation for Game of the Year. But Tears of the Kingdom did come out, so I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, Remedy's been up to a lot, but Remedy does miss. I told you this last time you said it. Don't forget, Crossfire X was Remedy, and that game is the biggest steaming pile of horseshit on the planet Earth. So they have missed ones.
Were they the sole developer for that game? I
believe so. Yes. Yeah, because they made it and Epic Games published it.
Got it.
So yeah, they have fucked up once, but that's okay. Nobody remembers that game because it
was developed by 3 companies. Remedy was one of them.
Okay, fair enough.
Developed and published by Smilegate Entertainment.
Right, Alan Wake is published by Epic. Yes. They have one whiff.
The Alan Wake is very exciting, and I loved the first one. I'm really excited to see what they do with the second one. It's going to be awesome to see a next gen. You know, Remedy is always like at the bleeding edge of what your GPU can do in your console and in your computer. They always find a way to bleed more effects. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, just look at the graphical fidelity of a game like Control, which now at this point is still a few years old, and it still looks better than most games that come out now in 2023. So
and it only costs $50 to make. 50 mil. That's not right. Sorry for the incorrect use of the word million. That would no wait, yeah, it was 50 mil. Why am I thinking different numbers?
Costs 50 mil to make.
Yeah, which is cheap.
Yeah.
Which is cheap for a AAA game. Super Mario Brothers Wonder comes out October 20th. It's a side-scrolling Mario game with elephant suits. What else do you hooligans want? This game's not for you. Then I don't know who you are, because it's Mario.
Yep.
Everybody loves old school Mario games. You might just not love it enough to pay full price for it, which is understandable.
Yes.
Front Mission 2 Remake, the old PlayStation 1 mech strategy game, comes to Switch on October 5th. Lots of lovers of that series and people who wouldn't want to pay the horrendously outrageous prices for that disc for a PS1. Here you go. Detective Pikachu Returns comes to Switch on October 6th. I won't be playing that, but there's a lot of Pokemon fans out there, so I threw it on here.
Oh, you didn't get your pre-order in on that one, Mike?
No. The Batman Arkham trilogy was supposed to come out this month, but Johnny put a note in here that it's not coming to Switch now until December 1st. So,
yeah, I got a notification from Wario64 about 10 minutes ago that it's been delayed for December 1st.
Well, if your only console is a Switch, you're going to have to wait a little longer to play this 10-year-old game. So, sorry. That wraps up the October releases that we felt like we wanted to talk about. There's many others, but a lot of them are just going to be invisible.
Yep.
Speaking of all these game releases, Johnny, it's time for a new talking point. I'm going to deal with the real issue. Too many games. There's too many of them. So in this segment, we are all having to deal with the post-traumatic stress disorder that comes from one of the most historic years in gaming's. What have we missed out on? What's the game plan to loop back and tackle some great games that were lost in the shuffle of releases this year? I have a huge one. Hogwarts Legacy. It's a big fucking game.
It's a good game too.
Yeah. It's.
I think you'd enjoy that game a lot.
It's in that game of the year discussion. For runner-up behind Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
It's really big, and I've really not had time to play it. And as we just got done going over what's coming, this is going to be tough. I feel like there's going to be a lot of games to play come December. So,
Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16 is another one. I think that's one for both of us.
Yep.
So I guess, Johnny, what are the most pressing game releases that you haven't been able to get to this year, and how the fuck are you going to play them?
Final Fantasy 16. I've always been a huge Final Fantasy nut, and I have the disc. It's here in the building. I've just been playing other shit. It's the only hope I have is that these fucking huge video game releases slow down. I mean, I still want to play Immortals of Avium.
Yeah, which looks great and
also looks
has
great.
Completely tanked as a result of all the games that have come out this year.
Yeah. This has been a banger for video game releases. I mean, what I think happened is with COVID, a lot of shit got delayed, and then last year was kind of light, and I think everything just kind of snowballed into this year. And I think
because at the beginning of the year I was clearing through a lot of last year's stuff that I just kind of got pushed over. Triangle Strategy, Scorn was one of them. But I mean, this year we had some really big games come out, like Dead Space remake.
Haven't touched it.
Redfall obviously came out this year, and I mean, I think people were relieved that it was bad, so they don't feel bad about skipping it.
Yep, that was me. I was like, sweet, don't have to play this one.
Jedi Survivor, which we both got through.
Fucking banger.
Tears of the Kingdom, obviously a huge game. Octopath Traveler 2, which for those that haven't that feel obligated to play the first one are now having full panic attacks because there's this other game that's even better that came out this year, and it's getting buried. Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Who wants to miss a Kirby title? Nobody. Disney Illusion Island, one that I've thrown out there a lot. That I'm like,
Yep.
man, this game is fantastic. You know, these little gems kind of get missed in the shuffle on years like this. So you'd already mentioned Final Fantasy 16. That's a big
Yep.
one for both of us. Hogwarts Legacy, obviously, that's a big one for me. Atomic Heart is one that I wasn't able to get to.
Yep, that was fun. I
That's
enjoyed
another really good one. So I mean, outside of Final Fantasy 16, are there any others that have passed you by that you feel like you need to go back to?
Yeah, yep.
What?
A whole lot. Octopath Traveler 2 for sure. I really want to play that, and I still need to play Triangle Strategy. I don't have Octopath Traveler 2 yet. I believe it's coming to Game Pass soon-ish, so that'll give me time to play Triangle Strategy. From what you've told me, is not painfully long. It's kind of
Kind of
shortish.
short, and it's
So
so must play.
yeah, I know. I need to, and I still got to finish my DLC on Midnight Suns too. They released a whole bunch of DLC packs. I've only done most of one of them. There's so much to play. I mean, I could fucking quit my job tomorrow and sit around and play video games for 8 hours a day, and I don't think I'd get caught up. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've got, you know, and these are ones like in other years they wouldn't have fallen through the cracks. So like Metroid
Totally.
Prime Remastered, I've got that sitting here, and I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. Resident Evil 4 Remake, I've had sitting out forever.
Haven't touched it. Yep, you're right.
Wild Hearts, that's another one that
Also looks great.
looks like it's very good. And haven't had
Mhm.
a Dead Island 2. You know, that game has done really well, all things considered. I haven't had a chance to play that. I love the first one. Diablo 4.
Haven't touched it.
Mega
Yep.
game. I haven't had a chance. Pikmin 4, which looks really great. Sea of Stars. That's one for me that I haven't been able to get to yet.
Yep.
So there's just so much out there. It's and you know, we've got Final Fantasy game tacked on top of all this shit. We've got Cyberpunk's new DLC out, which is taking over the fucking world right now.
Yeah, and then the problem is that DLC is going to warrant a whole fresh playthrough. So that's like, what, 100 hours I got to devote to Cyberpunk again? I just don't know when I can get to it, man. I really
and in
don't.
December, that really good looking Avatar game comes out, Frontiers of
Looks
Pandora.
incredible. Looks fucking incredible.
The Super Mario RPG re-release is coming out in November.
Jesus Christ. We're never going to get to all of them. This is brutal.
You know, and for a lot of you out there, you're like, well, Jesus Christ, we have a new Call of Duty game coming out in November, Modern Warfare 3. That RoboCop game, Rogue City, that looks awesome. You know, in a normal year, I'd be all over that the second it's out. Yeah, it's going to be tough. So I think my game plan is, it's just going to have to be being really conscious of what I'm doing with my free time and scheduling. You know, like for me, I have to schedule time to practice my instruments almost every day because I have a tremendous amount on my plate there.
Yeah.
I have to go to the gym every day, you know, because through binging video games, the last thing you want to do is completely forget about your health like I did for the past 6 years. And, you know, have that to deal with. I know a lot of you out there can relate to that. So it's going to be planning the use of time and probably taking really linear runs through games. I do this a lot with RPGs like Starfield, the one I'm working on right now, where it's like at first I'm like, okay, I'm just out here, I'm enjoying it, and then I have the realization of, man, there's all this other shit that I need to play. I'm just going to need to buzz through that main quest line and come back when
Yep.
shit gets dead.
And that's exactly what I did with Starfield. I hit like the 60-hour mark, and it occurred to me that if I just keep doing the random quests as they present themselves, I'm gonna fucking blink, and it's gonna be 200 hours into this game, and I've done nothing on my backlog. So I made the conscious decision right around the 60-hour mark. I was like, I got to just kind of focus on the main quest and get like I got the gist of it. I've gotten a lot of the story behind me. I've done a handful of the factions all the way through. I've got tons of money. I've got a bunch of 6 ships. It's time to just roll credits, and that's what I did.
Yeah, and then just come back to it when you have time.
Correct.
Yeah, so I guess for your catalog of games, what's your game plan? Like, is it a combination of just being smart about what you skip, or how are you getting through all this Final Fantasy 16 and everything else?
I mean, I tend to just prioritize, and sometimes those priorities change when a game's not really capturing me, and that's why a lot of games get left behind. Is I got whatever. Fine, I get it. I see what it's doing. Not a game that I have to play. Moving on. But right now, I would say my number one that I want to get behind me is Sea of Stars, and then I would say next is Final Fantasy 16. But the problem I'm looking at is that fucking Hellboy game. I know I'm gonna buy it the day it comes out. Spider-Man 2, I know I'm gonna buy it the day it comes out. Dude, I don't know, man. I'm glad that you're able to like organize and schedule and shit. That's not me, man. I'm ADD. I fucking open it up. What do I feel like playing today? Oh, that game I started 6 months ago and played for 30 minutes. Let's do some of that. So, I don't know. I know I want to take out Sea of Stars. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I feel like I'm probably maybe at the 33% mark in that game. But no, I mean, I just, dude, these game releases have to slow the fuck down. I cannot keep up. It's never really felt like this before, has it? Am I crazy? Are we just getting old and can't
No,
keep up?
there's
Or is
so
this
many
just...
more games coming out than there ever used to be. So no, this is new, and I mean, dude, think about like the list that we talked about of games coming out this month. That's like not even 10% of the games coming out this month.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
I
And they're like, for me, there's 3 must fucking plays on
I mean,
there.
because you got to think the world of like digital releases, right, on consoles in particular,
Yeah.
really changed everything, and we didn't have that to any respectable capacity until the end of the 2000s. You know, like mid 2000, like 2006, 2007, we were downloading Alien fucking Hominid and Geometry Wars, and like that was the best that you could download and play.
Very true.
So when people set out to make games, they had to make games that worked, number one, and two, that could be printed and published and shipped. And yeah, this is new. This huge wave, the amount of players in the industry, the amount of studios, the amount of just everything is pretty wild. And then you've got all these huge games as a service game just tying people up to where you can't do anything.
You have your subscriptions too. I mean, you could pick one random video game subscription service. It could be Humble Choice monthly. It could be Game Pass. It could be PlayStation Plus. You could pick one of them and go, this is the only amount of money that I'm going to spend on video games is just this subscription. You still don't have a chance in fucking hell of playing all those games. No way. No way. No shot. Forget about it.
Yeah, so I think prioritizing is the main thing. You have to focus on, ultimately always focus on what speaks to you. Like if just playing Call of Duty is what speaks to you, just do that.
I've wasted many a year in Call of Duty. It's fine.
Yes, you have. And I went through that with the first Destiny game, and before that with World of Warcraft. So I made a commitment that I wasn't going to do that anymore.
Yep.
Jury's out on when I was happier. Was I happier when I was just serving the one game? Or am I happier now that I'm trying to have that broad palette? I think I'm happier now. Get a lot of different experiences that I didn't get before, but yeah, it's tough. You need to be organized and have very good ADHD medicine, or you are fucked. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our final segment of the show. Time for one up. Johnny, get us started.
Yeah, so my one up for this week is a movie on Hulu called No One Will Save You. I had Mike over last night and we watched this movie. We didn't really discuss it at length, so I wanted to kind of what was your 2 cents on this movie? What was your
So for anyone unfamiliar, No One Will Save You is a alien horror movie. And it's your stereotypical gray man aliens.
Yep.
But they're scary. They don't come in peace. Or do they? Who knows? Because there's not a single line of dialogue in the entire film. Other than a song that plays near the end is the first time you hear English words in the
no, I noticed in there was, this isn't a spoiler, in a dream scene there was a line. I can discuss it when we stop recording. I don't want to spoil it for anything, but there is, I think, literally
essentially
one
there's
line
no
of
dialogue
spoken
in this movie ever.
Yeah. There's one fucking line.
So it's kind of an old school film in that way, where you're just watching, very Hitchcock-esque in that manner.
Yes.
And it does a lot of hat tips to a lot of different movies, but the main influence I felt was Alfred Hitchcock.
Same.
It's not going to blow your mind from like a special effects or budget standpoint, but it is pretty well put together start to end. And if you can just allow yourself to get sucked into this movie, it's one of the best sci-fi horror films that you'll ever sit down and watch.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page. I didn't want to sway you, or I didn't want to blow up the balloon too big and then you pop it. But no, I thought this was the best sci-fi horror movie since Gravity. I think if we had to really sit down and just take the genre of sci-fi horror, which granted, there's not a lot of really great sci-fi horror. It's a genre that I love, but there's not a lot of great sci-fi horror. I think this movie comes out of nowhere and is on the Mount Rushmore of sci-fi horror. I think it's right up there next to Alien. It's right up there. I mean, it's fucking awesome. I love this movie, and I enjoyed it even more the second time. And yeah, it's fucking awesome. So if okay, I'm gonna say some big words. I think it's the best alien invasion movie ever made. I can't think of a better one.
What would it be up against for alien invasion movies?
War of the Worlds.
Independence Day is bad.
Independence Day. Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, alien invasion is such a common theme and trope, but it's never really like nobody's ever really knocked it out of the park, right? Signs. Okay, yeah, Signs is. I think this is better than Signs.
It's not better than Signs, but it's very good. It's close to Signs, but Signs is my gauge there, and Signs is incredible. So it's close, but it's no Signs.
Nope was really good. Nope was really good. I like Nope a lot.
No, it's up there.
But yeah, no, I mean, if you have Hulu and you want to be entertained for an hour and a half, there is almost literally no dialogue in the entire film, and you'll be glued to your seat the whole fucking time. I loved it. Please watch and let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I had a good time with it. I thought it was very well done. So, man, Sometimes I feel like you get hyperbolated and like you'll forget about other movies that are out there, like
Yeah.
Signs. What else? District 9, right?
I wouldn't say District 9 is sci-fi horror, but yes, I see your point. District 9 is a better movie,
Yeah.
yes.
This one's very good, but it is kind of held back by its budget. Like Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane. That's
Yep.
another, I mean, absolutely great movie.
That's a banger, yeah. 10 Cloverfield Lane's awesome.
Much better than the first Cloverfield, which is also awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a good series. But
and then the third Cloverfield movie that's unwatchable and has no correlation whatsoever to any
I
of the
think
other.
the best way to put this movie is like you'll see A Quiet Place, I think, is better. Very similar. But I've
Yeah, I got to agree. I
think
I agree.
I think the perfect way to describe this film is you will see a lot of B-rate sci-fi horror films. I mean, there's fucking tons of them. Don't let this one get lost in that swamp.
Yep, there you go.
Of the, we describe games AAA, whatever. So for a single A movie, this is about as good as it gets. It's really good.
Yeah.
And it'll make you hate Battlefield Earth even more.
God, I never want to think about that movie ever again. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
that, Mike. Jesus, Battlefield.
My one up this week is a game, actually. We have spoken about how much we love and adore the Jackbox Party Pack games.
Yes.
So I want to tune you all in to something that is like that, but completely different and awesome. Johnny, imagine if Plague Incorporated was a Jackbox Party Pack game.
What's Incorporated?
Plague Inc., the phone game where you have to kill off humanity. You've never played Plague Inc. Okay. So Johnny's fired. Plague Inc., of course, is one of the most popular games of all time and is incredibly addictive.
Never heard
now
of
I
it.
can't wait for you to play Plague Inc. Please download it on your phone and you'll thank me later.
That's all I need.
So basically in Plague Inc., let's talk about Plague Inc. for a second. Plague Inc., the game starts off, your goal is to kill humanity with a disease. So like you can pick the flu, you can pick fungus, you can pick
with it.
And you mutate it until you kill off humanity, and killing all the humans is how you win. So let's turn that into a party pack game. So what Project Planet is its delivery system is the same as Jackbox. Okay? Where you have a host, people can connect on their phones or through their browser or whatever. One person plays as the Earth, who is trying to kill off humanity with meteors, hurricanes, locusts, or COVID.
Okay.
And 5 players work to stop humanity's destruction while also scoring points to determine the winner of the game. So you have the world leaders, you have the industry, you have scientists, you have the media, and then you have the public. And so each person controls one of those aspects. So world leaders, the media, whatever. And then one person controls the Earth. And you get points towards winning by essentially fucking over the Earth. So you have to find this balance. So like if you're the media, for example,
what is
it's called Project Planet. So for example, if you're the media, you can post fake news, you can do accurate reporting, or you can sensationalize the story. Now, if you give accurate reporting, that hurts your score, but increases your odds of saving the planet. Versus if you go the Fox News route and, you know, blow everything out of proportion or fake news it, you know, whatever, then you get notoriety and points to help you win the game, but you're hurting the chances of saving the planet. And so the game takes place over the course of 4 turns, where you have to make decisions. You can sabotage or assist the other 5 players. And you have to find that balance between serving your own personal interests and saving the planet. So another good example is the industry. So the scientists work. They come up with a vaccine. So the industry then can make the choice of give it out for free, and it completely fucks your score, but it helps out humanity. Price gouge, which causes millions of people to die, but gives you a ton of points. So you have to find that balance of how do I win the game, but how do I also get points so that I can be declared the winner? Or the Earth wins and the Earth kills you all. So it's a Jackbox Party Pack game if the Jackbox Party Pack game was Plague Inc. And it's fucking phenomenal. I really like it. It is you're muted. It's certainly worth.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, like search it on Twitch and jump in a game. Like you don't have to buy it. It's just like Jackbox, you know. Just jump in somebody's lobby and play a few rounds. It's really fun. And I think it would work really well like if you had people over. Because everyone's going to be screaming at each other.
Yeah, no, that sounds like it's going to turn into quite an argument. Yeah, I agree.
And
that's cool.
You know, like little factions will show up too, like within your game, where it's like, okay, this person's obviously trying to help the Earth win. They're just fucking us over like crazy. And then, so then you have to decide, well, are we going to let Earth win, or are we going to let the guy that's been fucking us over the entire game win? So like you have to strike this balance in it. That's very interesting. So it's a newer game. Our good friend Mika Ran has been streaming it fairly regularly. I hope she continues to do so because it is really fucking fun. So Project Planet
that sounds
is
cool.
my one up this week. Check that game out. It's doing well on Steam. It's got like an 8 out of 10, which for a game like that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Johnny, that wraps up this week's episode of the Power Gamer Podcast. We will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode for you all to enjoy. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Pollard.
Next time, take care.
Catch y'all on the flip flop.
Yeah.